The dust is starting to settle. We are experiencing a black swan event. Prepare yourself. But I heard black swans are impossible to predict. Though, who's been saying there will be black swans imminent, guys, right? Or they're like swimming around, looming. Well, we did, right, from the beginning of time, because they chose path number 3, which is pump, recession, then pump again. But what we experience today is a mini black swan. Okay, it came out of nowhere, but it isn't the true one. The real one happens when Elon Musk says President Trump's tariffs, quote, will cause a recession in the second half of this year, end quote. Wow, Elon Musk is literally exposing it all at this point in time. And there it is. Now we have our timeline literally perfected. Okay, I'm going to explain what this means, because finally the recession that we have been waiting for is going to happen second half of this year, September to December. But I think honestly maybe October, right? It usually happens September, October, or November. FTX happened November. A certain situation that pertained to nations happened October, right? And September, we know a lot of things happened that month. So this is why the insiders are preparing and getting ready to dump or find safety nets, right? Safe haven assets. Nvidia Monster Insider Trading Alert. Mark Stevens, the second largest Nvidia shareholder and board member since 2008, just dumped $150 million worth of Nvidia shares. There's a saying that goes as, follow the money. And the money is selling, selling, selling. The stock market, this tells me the stock market is going to fall to its death second half of this year. Here are my three areas of interest for XRP. Okay, either at one of these points XRP will bottom out before it goes to a brand new all-time high. Okay, I know this may seem a little bit crazy, and XRP is pumping slightly right now, but on the 2 weekly charts, guys, I'm seeing a very bad sign, right? That got triggered. For these higher time frames to reverse, we need okay. Hey, extrovert, how will you identify the bottom? Okay, the way to do that is you go on the daily, the 2-day, the 3-day, the 4, right? The 12-hourly. You go on these certain time frames and you see if there are bullish divergences forming, right? And confirmed. Right now, there isn't any. So until the day on like the 3-day, on like the 2-day, on the 4-day, I see bullish divergences for XRP. Then we're gonna skyrocket, right? But remember, the time frame is second half of this year. That's very odd he says that, okay? Because that matches up with our theory, right? So a dump, pump, okay, that's already September. Look at that, already August, right? Then dumps, right? So something like this, guys. Obviously, nothing goes straight up or straight down, right? It moves in a certain flow, guys. But something like this would make sense to me, where we skyrocket to crazy heights due to the crazy amount of money printing that will happen there. Okay, those are my thoughts of what the situation that's happening right now. Let's go check Bitcoin's chart and see what's happening here, guys. So for Bitcoin, bad news as well. Bad news bears. We're trying to hold us supports, guys. On there's two key areas of interest right here, and they're converging, right? So strong support. If it does go through the support, by the way, right, which is around 103k, 102-ish, high 102k. Well, the next area is literally 84k Bitcoin, and 96k Bitcoin. Okay, 96k Bitcoin. So you want to hope and pray this starts moving back higher, right? Because if it doesn't, it's gonna die, guys. Now, another interesting thing is, well, for Bitcoin, it matches up with the thing as well that we were talking about the Black Swan event, right? It will go something like this for Bitcoin, I think. So dump like this, right? Then a pump, right? SPF will happen. I think that's a swing failure pattern for the liquidity grab, and then it comes all the way back down to like 50, 60k, right? Then the money printing starts and we literally skyrockets. It's gonna happen so fast, right? It's gonna happen so quickly. If that were to happen, guys, it's gonna literally trick everyone. If I was a market maker, that's the path I would take. Okay. Now, what is odd is that if you go to the unemployment, okay, the unemployment data rate, again, it matches up, right? End of this year, the second half of this year, this thing probably explodes higher, which ties to a recession. Now, this quote unquote insider, which he got exposed because he's not an insider because he lost all his money, James Nguyen has exited all positions for a lifetime of profit and loss of minus $20 million. James Nguyen says, "I tried to defeat them. I failed. I went up against the Bitcoin the elites of Bitcoin. Nobody ever tried me before, or nobody ever tried before me. Not at this level. God bless." Right? So hey, James Nguyen. He's asking for donations to like trade it up again, right? He's basically doing what I did, which is called revenge trading, guys. When you lose a certain amount of money, you try to trade back up to that point, right? But most likely you will lose because you're not in the right state of mind. The reason I went through that is because an exchange has over half my XRP, guys, right? And I was trying to revenge trade and I lost it all. So basically, I'm starting off at scratch. So my idea here is, hey, James Nguyen, if you're not a puppet, if this wasn't pre-planned for a certain purpose, send me however much you have, and then I'll trade it up. Because all we need to do is what? You don't need to trade Bitcoin. Trading XRP is much easier because the volatility on this is times 3 of Bitcoin, guys, right? So you don't have to go 40x. You could go 15x on XRP. But again, if he doesn't accept this offer, well, the reason why he lost all that money, guys, it's because it's most likely a marketing move by Hyperliquid, right? To for more exposure to the exchange. I'm thinking that's what it is, right? Unless this is real, because I went through the same experience on a smaller scale, but I literally have cracked the code, right? We literally have cracked the code. If you want to make bank and all the profits that we'll make, I'm just asking for 20%. And he's definitely not gonna go with this, guys, because he's a puppet to Hyperliquid exchange, right? But if he isn't, let me know, DM me, and let's literally become Robinhood. But besides that, guys, Russia has launched several things happening, right? So not only is Elon Musk Black Swan events happened, but as well as this external factors are coming into play. Then a new what popped up, guys? A repeat of 2020. So they literally have so many cards on deck, guys, to pull from, right? And they're just gonna play one of them to bring upon this recession. It's the easiest thing ever. Benjamin Cohen says, if you look at prior post-election years where the market went down, you can find many examples. 1969, 1973, 1977, 1981, and 2001. So they all had one thing in common. Inflation and or labor were big issues. Have to wonder if we see a big drop or a drop into Q3 like we did in those other years. The S&P 500, okay, so the stock market, 2025, and we see all these other years, guys, and these other years have one thing in common. Inflation and labor were big issues, right? 2025 is one of them. They all followed the same pattern. Down it went, okay, for the ROI of the S&P 500, which meant dumps occurred later into the year. Do we see, right? Maybe September to November timeframe. It begins that black swan, guys. I truly do believe it, right? I truly do believe it. That's just me though. Now I don't really want to talk about Elon Musk as much today, but Tesla plummeted, right? Everything's starting to plummet, but this is where people become extremely bearish, right? At this point, you don't want to really become too bearish, guys, because there's so much liquidity buildup. Look at all that liquidity. You don't think they're going to take it? Obviously, at some point they will, right? Then the true test comes. Will we hold this level and keep pushing, or the fall and demise occurs before moon? Okay? This is odd. We actually talked about this before, and it actually came true. Bitcoin has now dropped 10%. Why? A golden cross occurred. And remember, when we said Bitcoin usually drops 10%, right? And it literally did. People fade the idea of the golden cross and it pumps back up. So is the golden cross still intact? It is, right? We from here on out, if we still keep dumping, it's gonna die. Okay, so the only hope that the bulls have in the extremely short term is we hold these levels and pump. If we don't, it's gonna dump. For XRP, I'm really looking at the lower areas, guys, and if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen, right? But I'm gonna throw a long, and I'm praying to God I catch this long, guys, to this, right? And then catch the short, and then catch the next long to literally $10, $20. That's it, right? That's my idea. We'll see what happens. But those are my thoughts for now, guys. I think the timeline is quite clear of what's about to occur. Just be safe out there, right? And don't do anything crazy. Not financial advice. And there it is. Prepare for anything as well. What is this? So, see ya.